is a problem in Medellin, Colombia. White gentrifiers and digital nomads are taking their MacBooks, flip-flops, and real estate projects and driving up the cost of housing and food. Locals say they are disrespectful, loud, obnoxious, and disturbing their way of life. These white gentrifiers are claiming to feel unwelcomed and in danger. I'm spending money, I'm giving back, I'm helping their economy. What is there not to love about me, my attitude, and my money? Coffee refill, por favor. Gracias. See, I even speak the language. Like all stories, this will be subjective and imperfect. I hope it sparks a conversation and increases the awareness on both sides of this very difficult topic. Should the Gringos go home? This is the point in the video where I walk around and act like I know the city because I spent 7 days here. Just giving you my summary, my personal summary, that's all. Medellin has a complicated history. Violence, resistance, corruption, kidnapping, and of course, drugs. Pablo Escobar, guerrilla groups, paramilitary, government, and the people have been at odds for decades in Medellin. It is better now, but like any city climbing out of the depths of despair, there are still major issues. One way to turn your city around is through tourism. Check this out. In 2012, the official Colombian Tourism Board launched this advertisement.
There's a place where people never believed impossible was a word. Colombia. The only risk is wanting to stay.
Okay, so this was 2012. I get it. But if you fast forward to today, that is a bit ironic. Stay, just not for too long. Now, I understand this is from the Colombian Tourism Board, so they probably still want people to stay. But there's some others that are like, it was a little bit too long of a stay. This was also before Airbnb and remote work, but people started to see the beauty of Colombia. Let's be honest, the cheap cost of living. The Colombian government saw the benefits that tourism provides. Jobs and money, which are the gold standard when it comes to government statistics. Now, fast forward to 2020, and you have Ilana Milquez. She drove the initiative for the first digital nomad visa in Latin America. This went live in Colombia in 2023. This lets foreign workers stay for 2 years and get a local issued ID. With that ID, that allows them access to local banking and the ability to register a company. Now, if we zoom out, the Colombian government is also giving huge incentives for big companies to set up shop in Medellin. Mayor Daniel Quintanero announced tax incentives that are up to 100% for some companies. Recently, 20 foreign investment projects were announced in Medellin that will bring in close to $148 million and 3,500 jobs to the area. So, back to the digital nomad visa. Basically, the requirement here is you work via an internet connection for a foreign company. But from the research I did, it's a fairly easy visa to acquire. Now, this isn't really creating more work or helping workers in Colombia. This is creating foreigners. The country's tourism department expects the visa to draw at least 45,000 digital nomads to the country in the next 18 months. The monthly median income in Colombia is $910 per month. Meanwhile, the monthly median income in the United States is $6,942 per month. You're not even comparing the same thing. I'm not trying to put down anybody in Colombia. It's just hard. You cannot relate to it as somebody who makes dollars versus somebody who makes pesos, and there's that much of a disparity in income. Now, the government is saying, come to our city with all your money and spend it. You can work somewhere else, but we hope you spend the money in our country. And this works when it's invested in food and tourism activities, but it hurts when people pay triple in rent or buy a house for twice as much. And I'm not saying the visa is a terrible, terrible idea, but it could make the gentrification problem harder and speed it up. Let's get the opinion of a local. This is Oscar. He was born and raised in Medellin, and he's going to explain how this neighborhood near downtown is just starting to go through change.
Because it's not common, the area, for having a hotel. Now, in the building that you see from here, it's Airbnb.
Okay.
I can tell you, maybe more used by Colombians locals. We have person coming from Bogota or something like that. But also, I have been a couple of times with guests that they are staying in this area.
Oh, wow. Does that surprise you?
Yes. But then you get used to it because when you talk with them, they are here 6 months ago. So they are like already looking for a cheaper place.
Yes.
At the beginning, of course, they went to El Poblado. Later, they went to Laureles. Now they are here because they got used to the city. They know how to move in the city. So let's say it's easier. But that's what you have to do. First days here, Poblado. Later go Laureles, and then you can go to middle class areas that is cheaper and it's not bad. It's safe. Everything is good. Look,
I know. So to me, this is how it starts. It's cheaper, it's safe, and maybe just some Colombians are visiting now. There's an Airbnb that not many foreigners go to, but eventually this is gentrification. It becomes an area that more and more people go to and start to drive up the cost of things, and then the locals can't afford to live there. Could this be a next area in Medellin? Now, this is a hard act to balance because you want the income there and you want the talent there, and the digital nomad visa is a real thing. So posting on Reddit is not going to make it go away or stop remote foreign workers from coming. You need to educate digital nomads on how to give back to the city and local businesses. Put pressure on landlords to not be greedy and drive up the cost of housing. This type of borderless living and working via an internet connection could be helpful to some of these countries. Medellin has managed to turn around its image, and that in and of itself is absolutely amazing considering where they were coming from. Yes, some slums are still run by gangs using extortion to gain control. If you're going to the playground, you better know the rules. And if you're looking for any trouble in Medellin, it will find you. To go from you might get murdered to any type of tourism should be applauded. Medellin as a city has invested a massive amount in the public transit system. Metros, cable cars, and gondolas have changed the way people use this city. Even the capital city of Bogota does not have infrastructure like this. It gives access to poor communities high up in the hills. It has transformed the city. EPM, the public utilities company, invests in the infrastructure to provide shanty towns up on the hill with electricity. They heavily invest. They've also heavily invested in building parks, safe public areas, gathering places, soccer fields. Safe drinking water is also available for 95% of the people in Medellin. Now, to me, this is all growth, not gentrification. It's investment in the infrastructure to make life better for people in Medellin. Tourists who stay at a hotel, experience the coffee farms, see the markets, and eat gelato help the economy. But the government ultimately controls the major levers that affect tourism. The things that bring in multiple millions of dollars per year. Laws, tax incentives, visas, and work permits. This is where the problem stems from. And I say problem, but some people don't believe this is actually a problem. It depends on which side of the coin that you sit on. If those factors are not controlled, then tourism will start to make its own path. Some people will come, visit, give back, enjoy a mango juice, learn how to make a good cup of coffee. Others will try to bring their multi-million-dollar company and set up shop and buy cheap real estate. And others will come looking for drugs and sex and a way to capitalize on a cheaper way of living. Gentrification is complicated. What is your opinion? Stop for just a brief second and leave a comment below. It's a complicated topic. I don't want to start an argument, but just educate people on what your side is. Which side of the playground are you on? Is there a place in the middle that everybody can meet? The picture of the poor family being kicked out of their house is a strong image, but the picture of a family making money from renting their house to a gringo also happens. Tourism provides jobs for tour guides and extra income for chocolate and coffee farms. These locals win, but the people in power are the ones really winning. If there are no zoning laws or building height restrictions, then gringos go home signs and pictures of families struggling are not going to stop any type of tourism or development. Some gringos complain about their ability to invest in cities like Medellin and bring their resources to these developing countries. There is a massive hypocrisy when it comes to this viewpoint. There is a racist double standard about the way most Americans feel about other people immigrating to their country. Of course, this does not represent everyone in the States, but could you imagine Colombians were immigrating to Texas to buy land, ride horses, and drive up the cost of cowboy boots and blue jeans? In no world. After spending some time in Medellin, I can see that the area is still going through change. The facades on the buildings, the outdoor plants lining the streets can give you a fake sense of change. There are still slums. Prostitution is a huge problem there. Production of the coca plant, which is used to make cocaine, has only increased over the years. And yes, gangs offer protection for money in many neighborhoods. And of course, politics. The turnaround is still happening. There will be more change, growth, and struggle as the economy and tourism and the city evolves, and that's okay. Now, picture this. A gringo starts a software company in Medellin because it's cheaper to start one there. Then he hires local Colombians to work at that company. And he wants better talent, so then he sets up a free school for locals to learn software development, and if they graduate from the school, he hires them at his company, paying them an average of $60,000 USD, creating resources instead of taking them. This isn't a made-up story. One of my friends is in the process of doing this right now. What is your opinion on it? Does it actually fuel the economy and help the local people and give more opportunities? Or is it just another gringo trying to save the day? If you travel to Medellin, be respectful of the past and the present. You are a guest. Your money does not bring happiness to everyone. If you are a Colombian, if you live in Medellin, I understand hanging signs for gringos to go home. All grassroots movements start somewhere. But creating change through education instead of passive, aggressive bullying would be much more successful. There must be a way for tourism, growth, and locals to all work together. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.